We all know that aid is, that the developing world is very complex, that the key challenges that remain are some of the most difficult challenges. But it's been very difficult for development donors to move out of more traditional ways of doing business. There's a lot of reasons for that, but DDD is helping to sort of set up a model that would allow us to think about how things might be done in an alternative way. So in that way, it's helping the donors with internal conversations about how we might be more effective.
I think this conversation's been even more productive than the last one because we've really started to move from principles into thinking about some of the practical applications of doing development differently. I think that's an important progression because one of the biggest takeaways I had from the gathering in Harvard last fall was that a lot of these ideas aren't new. And I think that's a good thing because it means that there's several decades of evidence and support for this type of thinking in our sector.
For me, the Harvard workshop focused certainly ultimately on clarifying the principles, partly the problem that we were trying to address and the principles of doing development differently. And I think this workshop's taken those principles as a starting point, had various case studies which illustrate those principles, but we've moved on therefore to look at the kind of practicalities of what those principles look like in the context of particular programs or donor organizations or governments. So it's moved on from principles to practicalities.
The Harvard workshop gave us a firm foundation in which to really dig deep into think about the principles that underlie what doing development differently means in practice.
I think one of the challenges is that you have a very broad set of actors that you want to see adopting this new way of doing development. I mean, you have the government, you have the CSOs, you have academia, you have development partners. To get everyone to start adopting new ways of doing planning and managing policies, it's a very big task. To take this forward, I think we need to be realistic given the constraints, but also the opportunities that we have. So you need a mix of both the more difficult, more sluggish reforms and the more easier, I don't call them easy wins, easier wins of improving the service delivery quality and access.